What it do, peeps? Sheryl Swoopes is been missing. Sheryl Swoopes is MIA. They got a APB out for Sheryl Swoopes. If you see Sheryl Swoopes, she did a lot of talking a few months ago about the Indiana Fever, the locker room environment, how people didn't want to play there, how people wanted to leave.
Sheryl Swoopes is absolutely losing it. She stood tall, puffed out her chest, and declared with full confidence that Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever couldn't land top free agents. Fast forward to now. And guess what? Indiana just pulled off one of the best free agency runs we've seen in the history of the league. Meanwhile, Sheryl's out here looking like the human version of a broken Magic 8-ball. All wrong, all the time somebody check on her, because it's clear Indiana just snatched her last ounce of credibility.
People in the Fever were like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new
it's
shit's going on around there.
It's a lot. Yeah. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
Let's rewind. Sheryl Swoopes, Hall of Famer, legend of the game, sure. But these days, she's just clocking in as a full-time hater with overtime hours missed. I've seen it all loudly proclaim the Fever would never attract top-tier talent because of locker room issues. And yet here we are, the contracts are signed, the ink is dry, and Indiana just built a super team, while Sheryl sits on the sidelines with egg on her face, probably drafting her next bad take.
Stephanie White came in and said, okay, hold up. Let me go to Indeed.com and Indeed get some free agents to come in here that want to play, that are accomplished, seasoned veterans. She did all that. Cheryl's been nowhere to be found. Sheryl got a lot of crow to eat, folks. Sheryl could be choking on crow right now. She need that Heimlich maneuver. If you see Sheryl Swoopes, tell her it's okay to come out and talk and say, man, you was wrong. It's okay.
I can picture Sheryl scrolling through her phone like, no way these players picked Indiana. But surprise, Natasha Howard, Dan Anna Boner, Sophie Cunningham, and even Asia Wilson's best friend, Sydney Carlson, are all in the Fever. Didn't just win free agency, they absolutely cooked it. And when Carlson was asked why she signed with Indiana, let's roll the footage.
I talked to Sydney Colson today about her signing with Indiana. She said that Kelsey Mitchell was actually the first person she hit up because they built a bond here, playing AU for the last 3 years. She said she heard some good things about Caitlin Clark from her Aces teammate Kate Martin as well, so that made the decision easy.
That's right, she wanted to play with Kelsey Mitchell, a close friend from over the years, and the phenom herself, Caitlin Clark. These were the exact Act 2 players Swoopes targeted a few months back. And here's the twist, this is the same Sheryl Swoopes who claimed Caitlin Clark would need years to adjust to the WNBA years. Really, Clark's out here dropping 40, like it's casual cardio, while Cheryl's predictions age like fine milk.
3 WNBA MVPs in your career. Would you consider each of those 3 seasons as dominant seasons for yourself?
No.
I can't, bro. Sheryl Swoopes is willing to lie about her own career before she even admits that Caitlin is dominant.
At this point, hating on Caitlin Clark feels like an Olympic sport, and Sheryl Swoopes is going for the gold. In fact, she's probably sweeping the podium, gold, silver, and bronze, standing there looking salty, while the national anthem plays in the background. Oh, Caitlin won't translate to the WNBA yet. Tell that to Indiana, who's out here collecting elite talent. Like they're assembling the event. ERS Caitlin Clark isn't just adjusting. She's thriving, and the Fever, they're thriving right along with her. Sheryl Swoopes might want to sit this one out because Indiana just put her in her place again.
No, but players who will be free agents next year, there's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
And let's not kid ourselves, the real reason some of these WNBA veterans and so-called legends can't stand Caitlin Clark is because she didn't wait in line. She didn't politely tap them on the shoulder asking if it was okay to shine. Nope. She walked in, smashed 62 records in her rookie WNBA season, loved all the fans, and elevated the entire sport into global consciousness. And oh, does that burn them up inside.
The Indiana Fever are that golden destination, and I can't help but laugh to the fans and the people online and the media commentators, unfortunately, who said that nobody wanted to play in Indiana. That doesn't make any sense.
See, Caitlin Clark didn't need anyone's permission to become the face of women's basketball. She's got more global recognition than half the league combined. And that's not her fault. That's just what happens when you're a generational talent Sheryl Swoopes, Angel Reese, Asia Wilson, and the entire Caitlin Clark fan club are going to have to sit with that, because while they're busy hating Caitlin, is out here stacking accolades, selling out arenas, and turning the Indiana Fever into the hottest ticket in town. And let's pause for a second to appreciate that the Indiana Fever, yes, the team that was treated like a WNBA afterthought, is now the center of the basketball universe. The previous doormat of the league is now the team everyone wants to play for. Talk about moving the needle.
A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
So share what happened to players don't want to go to Indiana. Who exactly were you talking to the ghosts of teams past? Because real players who matter, are signing with the Fever like it's the VIP section at an exclusive club. Or did she think Caitlin Clark would have to beg people to join her? Be serious.
Went even further when a game that Sheryl Swoopes was calling for the Dallas Wings, where the commentator was talking about how great Caitlin Clark had been playing. Sheryl Swoopes, silent for 60 seconds, didn't even want to address it. And it got so bad that the game that Dallas then went to play against the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark, after the domination of the Chicago Sky, Sheryl Swoopes got pulled from the broadcast.
Someone check on Sheryl, because she's clearly stuck in 2002 back, when the Fever were dragging their roster through mediocrity, like it was a team-building exercise this time. Have changed. This isn't Tama Catchings. Carrying a squad full of part-time gym teachers, the Indiana Fever are stacked. Natasha Howard, a champion defensive beast, and certified bucket getter. Here's what she had to say upon joining the team. It's going to be Caitlin Clark. Flash show, Caitlin Clark flash show. So it's going to be phenomenal playing with a point guard, like you said, that have a good vision on the court, because that's like, as soon as she get the ball in her hand, she throwing it up, because she already see the person down the court before she even get the ball in her hand. So that's one thing I love about her vision on the court. I really can't wait to catch all those passes and give her all the SH that she need. Dan Anna Bonner, a 6 feet 4 inches. In walking mismatch elite scorer and part of the WNBA's elite. And guess what? She just went to Twitter war with all the Fever critics. Sophie Cunningham. She's bringing the spice, the swagger, and enough trash talk to rattle an ENT arena. And who did she want to play with?
Gonna be Caitlin Clark flash show. So it's gonna be phenomenal playing with a point guard, like you said, that have a good vision on the court. Because that's like, as soon as she get the ball in her hand, she throwing it up, because she already see the person down the court before she even get the ball in her hand. So that's one thing I love about her vision on the court. I really can't wait to catch all those passes and give her all the assists that she needs.
And Sydney Carlson, even if she's not logging big minutes, she's about to turn the locker room into the most fun, high-energy vibe. The Fever have ever had chemistry through the roof. Do we see a pattern here? They all chose to be in Indiana. They all chose to play with the Fab Four of Caitlin, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Ho. So while Sheryl Swoopes is busy writing her next bad take, the Indiana Fever are out here building a dynasty. Maybe it's time someone passed Sheryl some eyeglasses, because maybe she's not even talking about the Fever. Maybe she's talking about the Las Vegas Aces, or the Chicago Sky, or the Connecticut Sun, who are all imploding right before our very eyes. The Fever are here, and they're not just participating, they're dominating.
Why does everybody hate Caitlin Clark? And do you hate Caitlin Clark? Come on, talk
dude.
to me.
Absolutely not. I think that she's a gem. I didn't know her, but All-Star Weekend, we kind of bantered back and forth a little bit. And she's lovely. She has a lot of pressure on her shoulders. And I think a lot of people always have a lot to say with people they don't even know or shoes they've never been in. And for me, I think she's handling the pressure very well. She's doing a lot of great things for women's basketball. And I'm a fan. Like, I would love to play with her one day, for real.
Sheryl Swoopes really thought she was dropping some groundbreaking knowledge on the Gills Arena podcast. She hopped on the mic with the confidence of someone revealing state secrets, but all she exposed was her own credibility, or what's left of it, honestly. Are we even surprised any more Sheryls out here spitting takes like it's her part-time job? And if there was a Hall of Fame for bad opinions, she'd be a first ballot unanimous selection. By the way, every single narrative about the Fever It's like, whatever about them signing Sophie Cunningham, who they don't like, they love Dan Anna Bonner. Like these people, they signed Dan Anna Bonner. And again, they were saying, like, we have actual people working for networks being like, Dan Anna Bonner will never sign for the Fever for obvious reasons. And I'm like, what are the obvious reasons? Genuinely, what are the obvious reasons? They are basketball players. What's next? Is she going to claim Caitlin? Clark isn't a generational talent that Angel Reese is. Somehow the best player in the league, and at this point you can't trust Sheryl's takes on anything. She could tell me the sky is blue, and I'd have to double check. And now with all these free agent signings, the Indiana Fever aren't just looking like a legit squad. They're looking like the blueprint. The funniest part, the same players Sheryl confidently claimed wouldn't touch Indiana with a 10-foot pole are now packing their bags like, where do I sign? See it, I'm really trying here not to crash out, okay? I can't take too much more. I just said the other day, what did I say? Another bomb Sunday. I said this, isn't it? I can't wait to see what the next bomb would be. Didn't know this would be the bomb, Stephanie. White ain't playing fair. I have to say it again, Stephanie. White is not playing fair. She owned one. Let's talk about Sheryl's latest masterpiece of a bad take, hyping up Asia Wilson like she's the second coming of Michael Jordan. It's almost cute. Meanwhile, the Las Vegas Aces are falling apart faster than Angel Reese's jump shot mechanics. Sydney Carlson gone, signed by none other than the Indiana Fever. And let's be real, Sydney was the heart and soul of that Aces locker room. And it's not just Sydney, because literally half the locker room is gone. But don't worry, Asia's handling it the only way she knows how, posting tweets that she's in tears and hoping we'll all forget that her team's chemistry is crumbling like a poorly made cake. I was like in tears, y'all, the Fever. On the other hand, our stacking talent like Thanos, collecting Infinity Stones, Caitlin Clark, is the franchise centerpiece. And now Sydney Carlson, Asia's bestie, is suiting up for Indiana. Oh, the betrayal, the drama. It's like a reality TV show, except Asia doesn't even get to be the main character anymore. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is just out here chilling, casually preparing to take over the entire league.
See. I'm really trying here not to crash out, okay? I can't take too much more. I just said the other day, what did I say? Another bomb is Sunday. I said, this isn't it. I can't wait to see what the next bomb would be. Didn't know this would be the bomb. Stephanie White ain't playing fair. I have to say it again. Stephanie White is not playing fair. She on one.
As it stands, Sheryl Swoopes is heading straight for the downfall of the century when she finally realizes the Indiana Fever are not just playoff contenders, but championship favorites. And when Caitlin Clark snatches that MVP in just her second season, the excuses Sheryl's going to come up with, oh, it's going to be world-class delusion. First, she'll hit us with the classic, back in my day, we had real competition. Oh, really, Sheryl? Caitlin Clark couldn't survive in the old WNBA, yeah, because nothing screams elite basketball like running around in oversized shorts, shooting bricks from mid-range, and playing defense like you're allergic to effort. Just ask Angel Reese. That doesn't make any sense by any stretch of the imagination. In what way would you not want to play in Indiana, the place where you're getting sold-out arenas, the most viewership on television, playing with a player who was top 3 in MVP voting as a rookie, who clearly elevates her teammates around her? She scored a lot, but she is also dishing out the ball, able to elevate everyone around her. Why wouldn't you want to be in that system? Let's not pretend the league hasn't evolved. Sure, we respect history, but let's not rewrite it just to make some people feel better. You already know Sheryl Swoopes is going to hit us with the classic. She's only hyped because of the media, like that's supposed to mean something. Caitlin Clark could drop 50 points, dish out 15 assists, and cure world hunger, and Sheryl would still be like, hey, she's just a shooter. But let's not forget who did the WNBA push as the face of the league back in the day. Oh, right, it was Sheryl Swoopes herself. But now that someone else is getting that same level of attention, suddenly it's a problem. The math isn't matching. Sheryl, it's giving insecurity disguised as analysis.
That doesn't make any sense by any stretch of the imagination. In what way would you not want to play in Indiana? The place where you're getting sold out arenas, the most viewership on television, playing with a player who was top 3 in MVP voting as a rookie, who clearly elevates her teammates around her. She scores a lot, but she is also dishing out the ball, able to elevate everyone around her. Why wouldn't you want to be in that system?
Of the WNBA, she's the present. She's already the face of the league, and she's about to dominate. Like it owes her money, Caitlin Clark is a polarizing figure people gravitate towards her. It's okay. Caitlin Clark's success doesn't diminish what Sheryl Swoopes accomplished. Caitlin Clark's arrival doesn't diminish anything that they've done. I don't get this old guard people wasn't phonetic. It wasn't buzzing the WNBA, and people didn't talk about it like they do instead of being upset about it the way Caitlin pulls up. From the logo with zero hesitation, that's different the way she threads. Pass that make defenders look like they're stuck in slow motion. That special, the energy, the charisma, the way she had the WNBA breaking viewership records. Before she even played her first game, unmatched. Sheryl can't handle it. Because deep down, she knows it's over for the old guard. And when Caitlin snatches that MVP in year 2 of the Swoopes meltdown is going to be legendary. She'll be on every podcast, every panel, every Twitter space, ranting like back in my day, ma'am, your day is over. This is the Caitlin Clark era. Now the Indiana Fever are coming for that title. And if you don't like it, get comfortable, because this is just the beginning. Sheryl Swoopes was discussing the Indiana Fever on a podcast, okay? And she was like, in the Fever, they've just been tremendous. And she started naming players. And she named like every player except Caitlin Clark, okay? She wouldn't mention her name, true hater, like real hater. So Stephen A. Smith caught her out on it. Oh, Stephen A. Smith was like Sheryl Swoopes. Like, you have to know, it's crazy for you to discuss the Indiana Fever without mentioning Caitlin Clark. Like, it's really happening. Caitlin Clark is on a mission. She's coming for the top spot, the MVP, and that WNBA championship like a woman possessed. And the Fever's front office, they've been cooking in free agency, while other teams are out here playing checkers. Indiana said, nah, we're playing chess blindfolded with one hand tied behind our back. Meanwhile, somewhere in the shadows, Sheryl Swoopes is watching this unfold like the villain in a bad movie. You just know she's sitting there, arms crossed, muttering, this ain't right. No, Sheryl, what's not right is whatever outdated agenda you've been pushing since Caitlin Clark stepped on the scene. But guess what? The WNBA isn't waiting for your approval.
Caitlin Clark is a polarizing figure. People gravitate towards her. It's okay. Caitlin Clark's success doesn't diminish what Sheryl Swoopes accomplished. Caitlin Clark's arrival doesn't diminish anything that they've done. I don't get this old guard. People wasn't phonetic. It wasn't buzzing. The WNBA, and people didn't talk about it like they do. Instead of being upset about it.
With Caitlin leading the charge, the Fever are about to make the league very uncomfortable. Teams thought they had time wrong. That championship window just slammed shut for the Aces. Yeah, go ahead and cry, Chicago. You are still trying to figure out what you're doing with your team, while Indiana is out here assembling a super squad. The season hasn't even started yet, but just know Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are coming, and they're not here to play nice. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.
Sheryl Swoopes was discussing the Indiana Fever on a podcast.
Okay.
And she was like, in the Fever, they've just been tremendous. And she started naming players. And she named like every player except Caitlin Clark. Okay. She wouldn't mention her name.
Yeah. True hater. Yeah.
Like real hater. So Stephen A. Smith called her out on it.
Uh-oh.
Stephen A. Smith was like, Sheryl Swoopes, like, you have to know it's crazy for you to discuss the Indiana Fever without mentioning Caitlin Clark.